Alright guys, I think I just found the most broken tool in trading, and I'm going to say this is like the level 2 of, trading small cap stocks, when you're looking at where the flow is going, where the bid and ask orders are. Now, before I go into that, I'm going to put a link in the description. You guys can, I'm going to look up his account right now. So it's from Glitch Trade, Skylight AI is this AI program. They pretty much look at money flow, and you're looking at the heat maps. And there's some other plans. This is the initiative plan. It's $2.99. I wanted to give it a try, and you're pretty much looking at where the money flow is going. And I'm gonna put a replay. There is a replay of what happened today, and I was like, whoa, that made sense on why I took the calls. I initially went puts. I didn't take my profit off the puts in the beginning, so we're gonna go into that. I'll put the link in the description. You guys can read whatever. Screenshot or take a picture of this guy's account. He's a really good day trader, and I've known about him, but I was not too sure. When you look at stuff online, you got to be skeptical. You got to ask, like, okay, is this really real, or are they scamming you out of money? But no, I don't think they are. And someone introduced this to me, and I think it's a really good tool going forward. I'm gonna try it for the month, and wow, just let me just say, I crazy breakouts. So I'll put the link in the description. Anyways, so back to my account. So I broke even initially, took calls and a put, didn't take my puts going forward. Even though the 200 EMA was right there, you can see where I took my puts from the beginning and where we had support at the 200. And then also, I took a Google swing and I only made $10 off it. Or, yeah, I only made $10 off that. It wasn't much. It was up a little bit higher, but I got out of that contract. Then I took a Google call and I made 66, so I'm up 72 on the day. It would have been a lot more hadn't it been for these puts. Really, I didn't take. I don't know why. I was up 78 at most, I believe, and I didn't take it off the table. So that is my fault for being silly. So, anyways, first thing in the morning, what are we looking at? Um, Looking at the 4-hour chart too. Just it seemed like things were gonna tank for a little bit. Let me pull that up too, because there's a lot of stuff going on too at the same time. I like to look at all time frames, and I'm going to go over my small cap stock at the end of the day as well. I did take one trade, and it was about $32 of profit. So you guys can see this here, $34, and I was like, okay, good. So I've been green every single day on the small caps trading, and I'm going to take that. This is what I need to do. Just these consistent trades. That's what's going to make me the better trader. Not trading every day. Didn't find a good trade yesterday. This was the only trade ONCO. So let's see, QQQ. Now, first thing, that's what I like to look at, bigger scale. I like to look at bigger scale and I like to zoom in a little bit more. So bigger scale, okay, look, MACD looks like it's going to cross over. Now, I was worried that we would rebound if I was in the puts, and which we did, and my fears came true. 1 hour, and then I like to switch over on the day trade dash just because I prefer the smoothness of the charts. Now I'm looking at day trade dash, 15 minute, 1 minute. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what goes on today. We had the 200 below us, so we opened up, made a high of 606, put a low of 604. Then I waited. I said, no, let's wait until at least we get a break. So we got a break at this area here at 604, and I believe that's when I took my 604. I took a 605 put initially. Not sure why, they're pretty expensive. I took a 605 and it started going up, and I was like, wait, this is not the right breakout, because we closed, or we opened pretty much at this low. We didn't break through it yet, and I was like, this trade was too soon, and let me just get out because this could easily reverse. And it was going MACD red, but we didn't have that breakout to the downside yet. So that's why I took the loss. I'm like, let me take it there. And I spoke a little too soon. Maybe I should have held on to those. But, that's the bias, You're like, you look at the stuff after and you're like, maybe I should have held on. But I got in here. As soon as we broke through this low right here at this candle, that's when the next candle over is when I took the contracts for 604. So yeah, you see how it opened lower? I just put my arrows there so I don't forget. So as soon as it opened lower, this was not a good entry. This would have been a better entry, but you wouldn't know. Crossover happened. You can try to anticipate it. And I'm still looking at the skylit thing at the same time, which I'll put on. Excuse me. So I took those. Okay, so now what is this looking at? This is looking at gamma exposure. Um, and these nodes, this is a king node. This king node means that there's a lot of money flow going to the area. And I was seeing a lot of that this morning, but let's put it in replay mode. So open happened. You can see how everything flipped. Then the first thing I see is a king node at that price level. I'm like, huh. So when I was told about this, I was told that, hey, that king node, and I'm going through the course. They do like a whole like session or academy. There's like some beginner courses on how to navigate this program, and pretty much they said, like, okay, you focus on the size, not on the color, because the colors mean different things. It's positive gamma exposure, negative gamma exposure. I'm still learning, the ins and outs of this tool, but for the most part, they said, look at your charts first, and this is going to confirm. This tool is going to confirm your own independent, your own thesis, your own, I guess, rationale for, okay, I'm going to take these calls now because the trend is, leading towards the downside. This is a tool to confirm that. This is level 2 data. This to me is level 2 data, but for options. And so this is going, oh, this is going pretty quick. I didn't think it would go that fast. But anyways, so that's what that means. I was looking at QQ, I was looking at SPX and SPY. SPY, they're keeping it pinned, and then negative. This is a barnacle, and then this is like pink. I forgot what it started. Anyways, the colors mean something. I don't have it memorized yet, but for the most part, positive and negative. But king node is that asterisk, so that is the money flow. So it came up first thing in the morning, and I waited. I'm like, let's see, because we want to wait, you know. And as I'm waiting, the reason why I took the puts was because I started seeing more money flow going down to the downside. And this king node, think of it as a ceiling, as a resistance, That's what I was looking at, thinking of as resistance. And then it moved down. I'm like, hey, okay, ceiling's going down. I don't know if that's a good thing. There's more money flow, more option flow going to these strike prices, 604, 605. And that's when I took my puts. I took my puts. I started seeing a slight shift. And within that area, you can see here at, 708, it did support that downside. So it supported that downside move. So 608, 7, or no, 658, 5, 7, 705. So within this area is where we saw that little downside move. So I'm trying to learn this at the same time. Like, I literally just got this. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, okay. So it keeps going down, but it's not breaking any further. And now this is supporting the 200 moving average. 200 moving average was around 604. That was 603.89. I'm just rounding, but 604, and I didn't take my profit here. Why? I was looking for the downside. I don't know. I was focused too much on this tool. I wasn't focused on, hey, we're at the 200 moving average. I should get out. I'm in profits. Let me just see how this goes. And if, I get a good entry for another, put position, then I'll take it. But it kept on stacking. This position kept on going higher and higher. I'm like, okay, there's more money flow, more call flow. So that should tell me we're going to have a move to the upside. And I didn't get out like a dummy because, I assumed we were going to go lower. And things started switching, and there's negative gamma exposure. And then I'll go over the terms on like another video. I just want to get a good grasp on how this tool works, what the terms that they use. And it's all related to option flow. So 15-minute chart, I was also looking at the 15-minute chart. The 15-minute chart was also MACD red, and I was like, hey, we're below these EMAs. Like, we could retest at this 200, given how we've been in this sort of consolidation for the last 2 days, but it didn't work out. So I didn't end up exiting until this breakout over here. Now, I actually got out here before the breakout. So I was looking at the 1 minute as well. I'm trying to look at all these things the same time, and now I understand why more monitors might be needed, because there's a lot of stuff to look at. But I just want to be looking at like left, right. I don't want to look up and down because I feel like I'll chew my neck. However, I got out at those 2 put positions right over here. I thought we would break. I thought this would be a failed VWAP breakout, but it was not. That crossover already happened. That 5 minute was already going up. MACD was green. 15-minute was green. I was like, okay, I got to get out now. Like, my time was up. I had time to take my profit when I had it, and I didn't take it. So that's my fault. I got burned. So, okay, this is at 8:05, 8 a.m. So look at the time here. So 7:43. So this is going. Right, I'm glad this goes faster. I'm glad it doesn't go by like actual time it took to get there. It's going 1 minute per second. So look, you see how this king node right here at 609, and I kept looking at that. I'm like, my friend told me that is where does money flow, option flow going. So you got to follow where the flow is going. You see I guess think of it as like the ask or the, I'm trying to see how I can relate this level 2, but think of this as where there's the money is going. The money's going there. So you see how instantly it started going up? That flow of money to 609, 608 started increasing. And as soon as I switched out on my puts, that's how I knew. I was looking at this. I was looking at the structure first, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go calls. I immediately went calls. You see the 609 calls. I took a risk here. I took a risk here because of the king node, and you can see I made 181%. And I had this. Had I taken profit in the initial one, I'd be up like another 340. I'd be up 340 on the day, likely 340. And I took a call on this 5 contracts. They were cheap. I'm like, hey, let's see. I got basically almost a 3x on these. Actually, no, these were 3x. My contracts 3x basically. And these 606, I got one at the support. I'm like, all right, let's see, because this is where we were hovering. This is where the current price was at. Let's go back a little bit, and hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I think this is an amazing tool. So I got in at exactly 805. Waited for the candles to close. No, 815. As soon as this candle opened, 606 break. That's when I got in, and I was like, okay, we might have a dip here, or just keep ripping. But it did dip to the 9. And I wasn't gonna bail out yet. I was like, nope, we're holding 9 support. 15 EMA is green, and this tool is confirming, hey, the money flow is going. So look, the 815 I got in. I believe I got out 805. I'm trying to remember the times. 815 is definitely where I got in. So instantly, this money flow started going. I'm like, hey, this is something. Then it keeps going. The money keeps climbing. We see 606. 606. SPY, it was a little pinned at 674 for a bit. So this was showing a bit of mixed signals. And then you see the money's still climbing. Boom, 58K. 76, 77, 80. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on? You see the price has already moved. Wasn't at 604 not too long ago. Let's see. Oh, that's 605. So between 605 and the 8, yeah, 605, 608 breakout. So between this area, between 604, it pumped all the way up to 607, and that's when I got out. I got out all my contracts here. As soon as we dipped once, we dipped this one time, and then we ripped. My heart jumped. I was like, holy shit, this worked. And I was just following the money flow. That's why I took those out of the money calls. And I was like, okay, now I see why people might do that. I don't know if they use the same tool, but I was like, okay, this tool works. And it kept going higher and higher. I took mine off the table. I didn't keep on holding. I could have, yeah, to follow the 15 to see maybe where it peaks. And let's see, I got out 8:30. 8:30. Sorry, I'm using PST, Pacific Standard Time. 8:30 I got out. The keynote's still there. It's 609. I'm like, huh, is this really gonna keep going to 609? And it actually does. Like, I mean, you already saw it. It was already at 609, 610. The money keeps on climbing. There is a price target, 684 SPY. You know, it's crazy. You know, I'm like, holy shit. And I could have kept on holding, and I would have made a couple more hundred. But I took it off the table. I'm like, hey, are you already lost for the day? You didn't take your profits. What if something happened? What if, you know, this is currently right now. I think it's stopping or slowing down. Let's see. Right now it's 10 a.m. So this is 12:15. I think they're using Eastern Standard Time. So I took my profits. I was like, I lost. I mean, why would I forfeit that? What if something happens? Trump comes out with something and says, hey, fuck this. We're no more ceasefire. We're gonna attack. Instantly tank. So that's the thing. You know, this tool can be really useful, but it's the person using it is what matters most. This tool is expensive and I could rely on it the whole time, but if I'm not doing well on it, then there's a problem with my psychology, you know, and with trading. Trading is all psychology. You can have the best tools, but if you don't decide to take your profits, like I didn't here, I mean, today I didn't take my profit, and I was right. I took a correct breakout. This was the strategy I am going for. The strategy I'm going for is a break of the lows and following the EMAs for support resistance. You know, following that trend and looking at potential price targets. But this is looking at the money flow, specifically level 2, and this was already, you know, indicative. Hey, like, look at earlier in the morning. It was a little different and it was a little choppy. This morning was a little bit choppy. We didn't have much, and then, you know, we had that breakout at 8, and I was like, okay, this is increasing. I'm gonna go for it, and I went for it. And, you know, I'm gonna keep using this and see how it works. Let me know how you guys feel about this. I thought this was pretty crazy. I was like, holy shit, there's no way. And now this is currently, so I'm out of replay mode, and they also have some simulation trades. You can simulate your trades on there, and I think you just record it. I haven't looked into it yet. So see, right now, look, 609. You're keeping the price pinned at that level. The current price to the left is current price, and yeah, Left is the current price on where it's at, and then the right is where the flow is. This is SPX, this is SPY. So let's look at SPY. So SPY is pretty pinned. I didn't trade that. I was wanting to, but it was super pinned at this level. We went up to a high of like just under 676 and then went to 673, but this was just all consolidation. This was not a good area. So even though I was right in the beginning to take a put on the, QQQ here, that wasn't the right area. This is not the right breakout. Not the right breakout. Didn't follow through. 200 moving average was there anyways. Didn't take my profit. Then we finally broke out and look, all the way to 680. That's crazy. And I'm sure you guys saw the 680 on SPY earlier. So look, let's see. So we opened. I'm gonna move this in 5-minute increments. So you see, SPY was just pinned at 675, 674. I'm like, damn, they're really keeping it there because that's the king node. The king node is at the area. A lot of contracts right there, and it's negative, and I need to memorize what that means. The negative and the positive. But the money flow is there. It kept it pinned there, and it didn't move till later. Tech has been stronger, and I'm gonna go over my Google call as well. So tech has been stronger. The king node right there, the positive gamma. So I think positive gamma is the best thing you want to look for. I think the negative gamma is not the best. They have tons of terms on what certain setups mean, but you see how quickly that changed within, well, we're going in 5-minute increments, but they were keeping it pinned at 676 and it instantly went up to 680. Like, holy crap, that is crazy. Now, they only have these for the indexes, IWM, SPX, and VIX. I'm only going to be trading these three, maybe SPX, but I don't know. I want to just work on QQQ right now because tech is pretty strong. So I took my Google calls. I'm going to go Alphabet. And if you guys want to go to small caps, I know some of you guys are more small caps, just go towards the end because that's going to be covered at the end. I'm more excited with this right now because this is a really nice tool. So I took my puts, got $10. I was looking for a quick downside for today. Just, I don't know. Tech is a little stronger, but what I was looking at, let's see if I can use this. I was looking to pull back further down since it broke through the EMAs, and I thought we would dump at least and maybe reclaim some sort of support, but we didn't. Well, we did dump a little bit, close to 310, and I don't know, I just got out. I was like, this is not going to profit, and things were already starting to reverse. I'm like, I'll just take it from there. Then I got in these Google calls. I was like, hey, Google's actually going up pretty well right now, and I want to focus on some of these stuff because sometimes you don't have to trade the indexes. There's a lot of stocks you can trade. Meta, we're gonna go over Meta. Someone on Meta, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go over that. That is crazy, and you guys will see why. That is absolutely, it was absolutely insane. So, anyways, I took my contracts. Let's see, for 325. His expiration was 417, so gave some time. Wasn't as zero date till expiration. They have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday expirations for the 7 magnificent stocks, or the 7 mag 7. I don't remember where I took my breakout, but I think it was around 315 when I was seeing the price, and then just instantly broke out to 318. Peaked at 319. I took my profit from there, and I'm green on the day. $66. I'll take it. That's a lunch, guys. That's a lunch. That's gas. Actually, no, that's gas. In California, gas is over $6, so we're getting kind of screwed. Okay, so I'm gonna look up Meta right now because Meta is crazy. It made a crazy move yesterday. So this is what I do sometimes, look at stocks. There's gonna be a bunch of posts on these Meta trades. Pretty fucking stupid. Pretty fucking stupid. Let's see. Can I find a really good post because these contracts went up ridiculous amount yesterday. You know what? I can't find it. Look at look at Meta yesterday, guys. Meta made a stupid move. This move was so fucking ridiculous, guys, that some people bought some contracts at a really high price level, and $10 to $20 made them like a couple grand. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. I need to find this. This is ridiculous. But look at this. 593 all the way to 628, 629. absolutely ridiculous. I'm now determined to find this because people made some stupid gains off this, and I need to see this. This is somebody that uses the same skylit, but they use it for other stocks. Now the plan I have only does it for the indexes. Let's see. Actually, I know someone that posted it. Sorry, sorry guys. I know. Just scrolling through stuff. Okay. Okay, this. Oh my god, guys, look at this. $4 to $1,000 is absolutely crazy. And this was from yesterday. So this is why I want to keep trading some of those stocks. If I don't feel comfortable with the ETFs, maybe the Magnificent Seven Mag or whatever, will be good. I mean, I see how people trade these now, but you all obviously need to know a little bit of the context. So that's the other thing too. You got to know what's going on with their news outlets, what being bullish. Right now, Apple, we have the news headlines, Q2 earnings preview, and I think their new iPhone. And then they came out with something. There's always a lot of news on all this stuff. But if you go to Robinhood, Robinhood will sum it up for you, and then you could just do your own due diligence. But yeah, see, Apple's even going up as well. Tech has been strong right now. Tech is strong. QQQ is proof of that. So all right. Enough of that. Enough of that. Now small cap stocks. So what? How did I trade Onco? I traded Onco. We're gonna go to my calendar today for April. We're green every single day. We're green. Guys, we're up $80. We'll take it. So ONCO. So why did I trade ONCO? ONCO broke out, I think, around 4:30. No, not 4:30. This was like way later in the afternoon or morning. We broke out in the morning. I noticed this was a recently reverse split stock from end of March. This broke out pretty nicely, and I took my profit. This broke out, yeah, 8:30. And I woke up around 5 today as well. I didn't wake up at 4. I needed some sleep. I was like, let me catch some extra Z's. Training for a tournament right now, or getting ready for a judo tournament, so I need a little bit of an extra bit of recovery because sleep is important for recovery. So ONCO reverse split. Look at the market, not market cap, the float, the float. I don't know why it's showing the market cap. Anyways, look, the float 500,000 for a dollar stock, and I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be good. So what came out? Some good news came out this morning. Today is the 9th of April. So this news came out. So they have a launch of an AI vision system with delivery, first humanoid robot. I'm like, all right, cool, cool. That's cool. But then we went up from 114 all the way up to 138, and I took pretty quick entries and exits. This is 10-second chart. I got in as soon as this broke out, and immediately I saw the stock. I had it up already, and I'm like, hey, no, this is 1 minute. 10 seconds better. Small caps are better for 10 seconds. For sure. So this broke out, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna take my entry 138 ish. I forgot what my average was. I don't even remember. Wait like a minute. So my entry was 147. I went 138. I lied. So I took him at 5. My entry was at 531. So pretty quick. 531. I took 200 shares. I was like, okay, this feels really good. It's everything that we need for the right setup. So 531. So it took around what in this area, and it kept going up higher, and I got up pretty quick. You can see I exited a minute 40 seconds later. 40 seconds later, I exited. So let's see. I got in this area. 531. Yeah, basically right here. I'm gonna move that circle, and it didn't get out till 10, 20, 30, 40. As soon as this hit right here, I exited my position, and it ripped a little bit higher, and it went up, consolidated at the VWAP, and it ripped up higher, up to $2. I didn't think it would go up to $2, but I was like, hey, I'll take it. 147. I got almost 20 cents of profit. So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. I haven't been doing too well in small cap stocks, but hey, you know, after a year of getting beaten, and then after taking a lot of losses, everything humbles you. things just start to humble you, and you're like, all right, I gotta chill out. Don't need to take a lot of trades. My trades have been less, and I mean, like last month. Last month was kind of a disaster. Down 39. More trades, and I'm down. February was a disaster too. More trades, and I was still down. Um, January, I think it was okay. 310. I did really good January. This was really good. And I'm proud of this. But, what good does it do if you just give some of it back or all of it back? But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today. I'm stoked to use more of this tomorrow. Let's see, we're at 610. Let's just go back to this one more time. See where it's at. That's why I gotta change the time frame. So it dipped at the 20 EMA. We had when this video started, I think it was around here, 608, and then the King Node is still at 609. So they're keeping this price area around that 610, 609. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be letting up until something changes. Then I guess we'll see this King Node change. But man, this is crazy. The money flow was there. So yeah. All right, take care, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.